You know, Linda, I was really glad I stayed home this holiday season. Were you?
Not coming home from China.
No.
Because actually, geez, I sounded like Trump for a second. China. Today is the day that passengers coming in from China have to show a negative COVID test.
Right.
And they have to do this a couple of days before their departure, and this is going to be in place for about a month or so, and then Canada will have a look at it again. We're not the only ones doing this.
It kind of reminds me of back in 2020 when we were both working in radio and they were like, Italy's closed, right? Like this is one of those like, it feels like, oh God, we don't know how to stop the billions of people that are now testing positive.
Right.
Right. So is this a health thing? Is it a science thing?
Well,
Is it
see,
a
that's the
politics
thing, is a lot of people think, I don't know, I actually did a Twitter poll about this because I was curious to know if people thought, yes, or they thought, this is really crazy, it's too late. What do you think of the new measure? And these were the options. And essentially, most people said, I think that this is a good move. About half the people who took the poll said it's a good move. 4% said xenophobic. 30% said it won't make a difference. And I think that's kind of the key point here is that it's not like you can stop COVID from traveling across borders. We've learned that.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah.
It's here to stay. And this variant, this Omicron.
Kraken.
There you go. This version.
The new variant of Omicron.
The good news here is that all science to this point is saying that the latest bivalent vaccine does defend against this latest variant. So that's fingers crossed with that. But when it comes, we gotta go to our well of contributors.
Right. Dr. Anna Wallach
Yes.
is a family physician, and we were talking in the last day or so, and she was saying she had some thoughts about this new requirement to test passengers coming in from China.
My main concern about the pre-departure testing of airline passengers from China, Macau, and Hong Kong is that we don't know the goal of this testing. Is it to keep COVID and the variants out? Too late. COVID is already here in the country and in our province, and it's widespread in the community. With the lifting of public health protections, we have unmitigated spread locally, and this can lead to more variants springing up, as we saw happen with XBB.1.5 in northeastern United States. In fact, why aren't we testing passengers from the US or any other country where COVID is running rampant and this variant has been found, if that is indeed our goal? And if the goal is to sequence the variants to monitor what is coming in, then we should just do wastewater testing of all the airlines that are coming into Canada. If we are not trying to control transmission locally, keeping COVID out from one country and one country only is merely plugging one hole in a very leaky bucket.
Yeah, I mean, the Kraken, has already left the barn, so to speak, because now we're seeing that this Kraken variant, which is the Omicron XB point this, that, 1, whatever.
1.1.
Yeah, we now have 12 confirmed cases here in BC, and just a couple of days ago it was 6. And in America, they had a few, and now 40% of the COVID cases are Kraken, which isn't even a real name.
No, it isn't a real name, and it's frustrating a lot of people that
Yeah.
it's being named this. And I'm certain that the NHL team in Seattle probably feels a little bit sad about this particular nickname that's been handed down. Dr.
Any
Peter Hote,
publicity is good publicity. Isn't that what
Professor
they say?
Peter Hote, I'm not sure about that
Yeah.
one here. Ask Corona Beer about that. Peter Hotez, one of the foremost vaccinologists and scientists in the U.S. that you see everywhere, the guy with the little bow tie, he calls this the Scrabble variant because some of these variants that have all the high-scoring Scrabble letters and all the 0.12 whatever, which I know you're like, just name it something that I can say out loud.
I don't care what you call it. Just don't call it X something,
It's
plot 1, blah, blah. I can't tell the difference.
It's scary is what it is, I think, at the root of it. Also scary here, Linda, and something that you and I talked about in coming to this subject matter is whether or not this will amplify the hate associated with the Asian community and not just Chinese, but really there's so many people who have equated such horrible racism to what is happening with COVID-19.
Because they're already racist and they're looking for something new to jump on.
So back in 2020 to 2021, I was invited to be a part of Health Not Hate, which is an initiative to just say, hey, like, let's look at one another as humans and help one another and really think about what our best practices are here to protect one another. And two of the people that I had the opportunity to work with on Health Not Hate We reached out to, on behalf of the show, to ask them whether or not this was concerning to them. So Sunny Wong was one who sent me back a note that said this.
I think the racism will emerge only if it results in more COVID cases in BC and things shut down again. Right now, he says people are enjoying their back to normal freedom and this moderates those racist emotions, but it's the shutdowns that will exacerbate it because people are looking for someone to blame.
Indeed.
Right now.
And then Ben Liu, a co-founder of Health Not Hate, had this to say, and I think some good points made here. Most Chinese Canadians understand, as China has been requiring all inbound travelers to do the same for the past 3 years, and they still require a PCR negative test to board any China-bound planes. The testing requirement applies to all China-originated travelers. So you are in China, you, Jody, would have been asked to do the same, as this is not a race-based policy. That again, Ben Liu, one of the founders of Health Not Hate.
And the other thing that I'm hearing is that the COVID variant circulating in China right now is Omicron. And the one that we're most concerned about, because we don't know a lot about it and it seems to be more transmissible, is Kraken, the name that's another variant of Omicron. And that's the one that is flourishing south of the border. About 40% of the cases there are this Kraken variant. So to Dr. Anna Wallach's point, why are we not testing American passengers coming in if Kraken is all over America and presumably got a toehold here in BC already?
And what's stopping people from en route from any of the places that require a PCR test and then changing plane
trying to
and
dodge
come
it?
here? That's going to happen. Not to mention, how many stories have you heard about people just acquiring a negative test for travel?
Right.
I've heard a lot of people doing that.
Plus,
and not just from China.
There were people that I
Yeah.
saw online who said they got on a flight getting out of China
Never
early
asked.
because they were trying to dodge this new requirement from Canada. So we're not going to stop COVID. Oh my God, I wish we would stop talking about it. That's
One
my
day.
New Year's resolution.
One day.
Yeah,
One
someday.
day. But we're still going to talk about travel nightmares. That's
Oh
happening.
yeah, the nightmare before Christmas. Oh my goodness, it was a cluster, right? And so now the finger pointing has become, started. Who's to blame? Is it government? Is it the airlines? Is it passengers? Is it Sunwing? A former Air Canada executive joins us next.